Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about, you can say, this increased sensitivity after awakening. And for many of us, when we go through an awakening, we become aware of how we really feel. You can say that we become more conscious, and the way that we used to cope and the way that we used to suppress our emotions, those strategies doesn't necessarily work anymore. So maybe we have been attached to a certain identity to help us cope with like emotions like shame or guilt or anger even. So we have sort of like tried to fix ourselves, the idea about who we are, to compensate for our emotions or our triggers. Or maybe we are like very addicted to being around others and have certain relationships. Maybe we are addicted to entertainment or some other sort of distractions to run away, you can say, and resist how we feel. And if you go through a real awakening, then you might it's hard to not be authentic with yourself because you become aware of how you really feel. It's not possible to escape that way anymore. So it becomes apparent to you, your own suffering, you can say, at some point. And it can be really, really uncomfortable and really, really triggering. And I remember for me, it felt like the volume of life was turned up, like the volume of my experience. Like my thoughts were so fast and like so many thoughts, and they were so loud in my head. I remember I started to notice that. And also my emotions were so raw and so strong. Like I didn't know, I knew deep inside, I knew how I felt in situations, but I used to find ways again to cope with it, and I couldn't do that. I became so aware of how I really felt because it was so intense. And same with, like, I was very sensitive to sounds, noises in the room around me, so I had to have like complete silence for a while. So I think that we can go through phases, especially after awakening, where we become like very, very sensitive and also very reactive because we become aware of how things really made us feel. And the way to go about this is truly to feel our emotions, to become comfortable with the uncomfortable, really. It's not that we should try to make the uncomfortable comfortable, but not resist it is maybe a better way to say it. So again, through life, we learn to suppress our emotions. And when they come to the surface, they're sort of knocking on the door. And if you're had a through awakening, then it will be challenging it won't really work anymore to deal with it in the old ways, which is actually you can say, it's your ticket to liberation, because we think that if we just suppress and deny, then we will feel good. But true liberation is when we're not running away from ourselves anymore, when we can be with everything that we are, then it loses power over us in the same way. You can say that if you're able to face your fears, if you have done that in the past, and you recognize that, oh, if I don't let the fear have power over me, then I'm free from it. And the situation, the problem, or the difficulties in my life, they sort of don't become, you see it in a different way. It doesn't feel so emotionally loaded anymore because you're not running away from the emotion. You're not trapped or locked by the escapism from the emotion. It's liberating, really, to be able to feel your emotions. And you feel more whole too, instead of that constant split, that inner wrestling of, I feel that way, but I don't want to feel that way. That constant sort of battle, and we can let go of that. But again, after awakening, we can go through a phase where that becomes very apparent to us, how we really feel, and how we also have gone through life in a way that hasn't really been, maybe we have been driven by our fears. Maybe we have been driven by shame, and we didn't know that because we just thought that we were unconscious, really. So maybe you built a perfect life to prove to everyone else that you're so great, but underneath that is shame, because you're looking for approval, in a sense. I'm just using that as an example. It can be anything, really. So one thing that we can do when we're going through this phase of emotional integration, which is usually after awakening. We can, of course, do shadow work before awakening, but it will be much more apparent to us after awakening, how we really feel, especially like on the more core, the essence of the suffering at a much deeper level. It's to face challenges, really. If a situation that it's not really harmful, you can say that maybe you're really triggered by noise, for example. I was when I woke up, but I'm not anymore. And what changed, really? It has been an integration at some level. And you can say that you can't really control this process because it just has to, like, the reactions has to burn out in some sense. But it helps to move with them, to move into it and feel it fully. It will also, you can say, save you from very unconscious reactions, like to others, and where you sort of you act in harmful ways. You do that less if you are comfortable with your own emotions. And so that's my what I wanted to say for you today. You can join my membership program if you want to. It's weekly calls with meditations, and where you can ask me questions and bring up topics that you want us to discuss. And you can also check out my free mentorship masterclass in the link down below. And always leave me a comment below and let me know how you feel about this subject. And see you in the next video. Namaste.